The next lab that we're going to be working with is going to be part of module 7 related to storage, and is working with Elastic Block Service, with the Elastic Block Service. The main idea about this lab is going to be the following. This lab is going to focus on Amazon Elastic Block Store, or Amazon EBS, a key underlying storage mechanism for Amazon EC2 instances. In this lab, you will learn how to create an Amazon EBS volume, attach it to an instance, and apply a file system to the volume, and then take a snapshot backup. And among the topics that we're going to be covering are the following. Create an Amazon EBS volume, attach and mount your volume to an EC2 instance, create a snapshot of your volume, create a new volume from your snapshot, and finally attach and mount the new volume to your EC2 instance. So let's start with task number 1, which is create a new EBS volume. In this task, you will create and attach an Amazon EBS volume to a new Amazon EC2 instance. So we're going to start with step number 5. So I need to go to the management console, and I need to go to the EC2 service. EC2. Even though I have a shortcut here, I'm going to select it from here, from the search, and I'm going to start it. Next step is going to be number 6. I need to go to instances, and the next step is going to be, there's going to be an EC2 instance named the lab that's already has been launched in this lab. So here we have it. Number 7, we need to note that that the availability zone for this EC2 instance is US East 1A. So let's take a look at that. That's what we can see. So the lab is the one at the top, and we're looking at the availability zone where it was placed. It's part of the region US East 1, but it's part of the availability zone A within that region. But in general, this is how we refer to the availability zone: the name of the region, and then a letter to indicate the availability zone. Okay, so that has been confirmed. Next thing we need to do in step number 8 is navigate in the left navigation pane, and we're going to choose volumes. This is the Elastic Block Store, what we're using. So I need to go to volumes, and we're going to see here that we have let's see, so we have 2 volumes here, and one is attached to the lab EC2 instance, and another is attached to the Bastion host. Okay, so this one is attached to a lab. Okay, so we found it. So in the next step, what we're going to be doing is, well, we have this is an 8 gigabit EBS volume. So now what I need to do is, in step number 9, I'm going to create a new volume. So I'm going to choose create volumes, create volume. So I click on this one, and I need to specify a few things, such as what type of volume I'm going to use. In this particular case, I'm going to be using GP2, which is going to be the general purpose SSD. So this is the one that we're going to be using, and we're going to so this is an extra volume that I'm creating that I will be attaching to the EC2 instance named lab. In this case, I'm going to based on the instructions in step 9, I need to select 1 gigabyte of size, the capacity of that EBS volume. And the next thing I need to do is I need to make sure that it's in the same availability zone as I have my EC2 instance. because if I'm going to attach an EBS volume, a new EBS volume, it has to be in the same availability zone as the EC2 instance that I want to attach it to. Okay, if I were to create it in another availability zone, I would not have access from this. I wouldn't be able to attach this volume to the EC2 instance that's located in another availability zone. That's why I'm going to select this one. Okay, and then the next step I need to do is I'm going to add a tag. So the next step is, by the way, I believe that we're not going to be using any encryption. So any data that gets saved here is not going to be scrambled. So we're going to leave this the way it is. So the next step is to add a key, and in this case, we're going to, the key is going to be name, and the value is going to be my volume. And after I've done that, I'm going to create step number 10, create volume. Okay. So that's now that has been taken care of. We can see the new volume here is 1 gigabyte in size. Okay, now in task number 2, what I need to do is I can attach this new volume. So we're in task number 2. We're going to attach the volume to an instance. In this case, it's going to be the lab instance, the lab EC2 instance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my volume, and what I'm going to do is going to be in step number 12. I'm going to go to the actions, and I'm going to choose attach volume. Let me see just a moment. I need to take a look at something. Okay, so I was trying to attach this volume that I noticed that I couldn't do it. So the reason is that if you scroll down, you're going to notice that it's still in creating mode. So it hasn't finished the provisioning yet. Oh, it's available now. Good. Okay, so I select it, and then I'm going to go to the actions. And what I'm going to do is, right now, this volume is just floating in this availability zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it to an existing EC2 instance. So I'm going to attach it, and I need to find the lab EC2 instance. Here we can see, we can recognize it easily because it has a label that in this case we have the label of lab. So we select this one. We're going to so we need to note this information because this will be useful once we try to format the hard drive. Okay, so now I have made a note of what the name of the device name is. And the next thing I need to do is I'm going to go to task number 3, which is connect to your Amazon EC2 instance. I'm going to be using SSH to connect into the lab EC2 instance remotely from my own computer. So I'm going to be doing that in a moment. Okay, so as part of this lab, I'm going to create an SSH session to the lab EC2 instance in order to do a remote session using SSH. I'm currently using my Windows system, so I'm going to use the command prompt actually. I'm not going to use PuTTY to connect to the to create a remote session into the remote computer. But pretty much what I need to do is I need to find out what the public IP address of that EC2 instance is. And in order to do that, what I need to do is I need to find out what the public IP address of the lab EC2 instance is. And if I look for that information, which we have seen many times in the past how to do it, what I need to do is just go to the EC2 dashboard, and then I need to look for the public IP address of that machine. So that's what I'm about to do. So let's see. So the public IP address for that EC2 instance is the one that I have here. So let me select this one here. So this is going to where I'm going to perform my SSH session into that EC2 instance. So I type in SSH minus I. Now I need to use the file that I'm going to be using to the key is going to be labsuser.pem, and the username that I'm going to log in as is going to be ec2-user at, and now I need to type in the public IP address of the lab EC2 instance. So it's going to be 33.91.233.9. And let's see if we're able to make a successful connection. Waiting. Okay, so let's do the remote session. So I'm going to use the SSH command. Minus I, the key is going to be lab user. Let me take a quick look first of all. So I'm going to look for key that starts with lab and ends in PM. It's labs user. Okay, so it's going to be SSH minus I. The key is labs user.pem. Next comes ec2-user at, and then I noticed that I made a mistake with the IP address. It should have been 3.91.233.89. 3.91.233.89. And after I do that, I say yes to this prompt, and I'm connected to the remote host via SSH. Okay. So now what I need to do, well, it says that there are 11 packages needed for the security, so I need to make sure to update those. Okay, so I'm going to just run the sudo command, yum update. Okay, sudo yum. Wasn't expecting this to happen, but I need to take care of this. Okay, yes, I'm okay with that. So it's installing all of those dependencies, and let's continue. Okay, now it's done. Okay, now that I'm done with this, what I need to do is I need to go to step number 30. So now I'm going to take a look at the available storage on this system. So the f-h, I'm not going to find out here, I'm not going to see here the 1 gigabyte hard drive that I attached to this EC2 instance, by the way. So what I need to do is I'm going to have to create, okay, in step number 31, I need to create an ext3 file system on the new volume. So in order to do that, I need to sudo mkfs, again this is step 31, minus t ext3, and this is the device of the new, this is the reference to the new EBS volume that we created, okay, that when we attach it to the EC2 instance. So I type in this. Device apparently does not exist. Let's take a quick look. Did you specify it correctly? Just a moment. Okay, I was getting an error saying that it couldn't find the volume when I was doing the SSH session into a remote EC2 instance by the name of lab. So and then I just came back to the volume that I created, to the details of that volume. And the interesting thing that I find out about here is when I go to actions in attached volume, I've noticed that it's not attached to to the lab that I thought it was attached to. I think what might have happened is I might have not clicked the attach button, attach volume, and that's why it wasn't attached to it. Okay, now it says that it's successfully attached to it. So now what I can do is I can come back to this. Um, this is the message that I got. The device apparently does not exist. Did you specify it correctly? So now I have done it, and now let's see what happens. I'm going to copy the previous command. Okay, and now it seems that it worked. Okay, good. Now that was step number 30. That was step number 31. Step number 32, it says create a directory for mounting the new storage volume. In Linux, whenever you attach a new drives are considered to be like, if you attach a new drive to an EC2 instance, you have to use a directory for that. So it's going to appear as a directory. So that's why I need to take care of now. So now I need to do sudo mkdir is going to be in this directory mnt and data-store. So I create this directory in this location, and it worked fine. Now step number 33, mount a new volume. So I'm going to do sudo mount dev sdf is going to be mounted to mnt data-store. Okay, and to configure the Linux instance to mount this volume, whenever the instance is started, you will need to add a line to etc stab. Okay, there is in step 33, because I want this volume to always be mounted, I'm going to have to add a line to a file in the etc directory. So pretty much what I need to do is I'm going to have to escalate my permissions for a while, and then so what I need to do is I need to go to the following folder. It's going to be, I need to go to the etc, and then here I need to look for the fs stab. See, okay, that is the file. Let's take a look at the contents. I'm going to use the cat command. Fs stab. The cat command displays the contents of a file, by the way, and the ls command lists files. And in this case, I was trying to see if this file existed there, and it did exist there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do cat of the fs tab, see what's in it. Yeah, it has only a few things here. Okay, so pretty much what I'm going to do, oh, okay, I'm going to, okay, so what I'm going to do is, actually, I can go back to the previous location where I was, which was home, the home directory of the previous user. Okay, so let me exit this root, the root permissions, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this command echo dash dev dash sdf space mnt / data dash store ext3. I assume there is a defaults, no time, then I need to type in 1 2. I close this, and I'm going to pass this to this to the sudo t command. So I need, in this case, I'm escalating my rights to administer root, and then this is going to display something on the screen, as well as also is going to write to the fs stab file. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So it's -a, and then is etc / fs stab. Let's see what happens with this. Okay, so this is the part where it displayed on the screen what it was doing, but it also wrote to a file. That's because we have, in this case, we have that we're doing the T displays and also writes to the file. Okay. Now I need to go to now from wherever I am. In this case, I'm in this home directory of this EC2 user. I need to take a look again and see what are the contents of this folder of this file, df stab file, and there we have it. Here is the information, the dev / sdf, and then the mount. Okay, that's good. The folder. Okay, so that should take care of that. That was a step. What I just did was with the cat command, I did display the contents of the file. Now, if I use the df command again to look at the available space, I can see now that I have the 1 gigabyte 1 gigabyte EBS volume, and it displays now. It's attached to it. It's available to be accessed. So now, if I do this, this is what we get. We can recognize the file here because it's about 1 gig. And now what I need to do is step number 36. On the mounted volume, create a file and add some text to it. So in this case, what I'm going to do is sudo sh -c. I'm going to do echo. Some text has been written, and I'm going to output that to the mnt data-store file txt. So I'm going to end up creating a file in this directory which refers to that drive. Okay, so let's see if it works. Okay, I assume that it was written to it. So now I want to display the contents of this file, the one that was created in this location, /mnt /data-store /file txt. So I'm going to use the cat command, and then it's going to be the mnt data.store -file.txt. And then hopefully we'll be able to see echo some text has been written. Okay, there it is. So we can see the file is there. The next thing I need to do is I need to create a snapshot of the EBS volume. In order to do that, I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, so that's we're in task number 5, which is create an Amazon EBS snapshot. So what I need to do now is okay. So let's go back to I'm already in the console. I'm in the EBS volume, and I believe that I'm going to be creating a snapshot of this of my volume. So I'm in the volumes. I'm once again in the volumes. Let me see. I'm in the volumes section of the Elastic Block Store, and now what I need to do is I need to select it. I'm going to create a snapshot. So any data that is in that volume is we're going to take a snapshot and going to capture whatever is there. In this case, there's only one single file. That small file that I created just a moment ago is what will be containing that snapshot. So pretty much what I need to do is I need to go to actions, given that this volume is selected, and then I need to create a snapshot. So I select this one. It's going to ask me to add a description and also a tag. So let's see, choose volume, select my volume. Step number 39, the action, select this. Add a description to your snapshot. I guess I can give it any name. My first snapshot of an EBS volume. volume, and then the tag that I'm going to use for this is name, and the value is going to be my snapshot. Okay, now once I do that, I click on the create snapshot, and the snapshot is going to be created. In the left navigation pane, choose a snapshot. So I need to go back to the EBS volumes, which is here. And then I need to go to snapshots. And then I can take a look at the status of the snapshot. In this case, it's in the pending state. Usually, whenever you create a snapshot, the computer, given that this volume is attached to an EC2 instance, is going to stop that EC2 instance, and then it's going to take a snapshot of the volume, and then it will be ready. But let's see how long it takes. It should be a relatively small snapshot, I believe, so we'll see what happens with that. So the progress, by the way, is unavailable at 8%. Okay, waiting just a few more seconds, and we can see that it's available now, and it's at 100%. So that means the snapshot is ready. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to go back in my remote session, and I need to delete the file from the volume. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my SSH session, which I still have open, and then I'm in step number 42. So pretty much what I'm going to do is, remember that I created a file. This command, pretty much this thing here, showed us that there was this file txt, and it contains this text. So I can do it again so we can see it. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that file. Okay, so I'm going to scale it to give myself a root privileges, so then I can remove the file, and it's going to be mnt data.store file txt. So by doing this, I'm going to be deleting that file. Okay, such that if I do, suppose if I do a listing of that directory, mnt data-store file txt, it's not going to display anything. Cannot access this file. No, there is not such a file or directory. Okay, which makes sense. The same would happen if I try to do a cat. I'm going to use the up arrow to get to the cat command. When I get to this command listed the contents of that file, but because the file doesn't exist, we shouldn't see anything. There's no such a file. Okay, so the main idea here is, let's pretend that someone mistakenly deleted that file from the volume, the attached volume, because we created a snapshot of that volume while the file was still there. We have a backup of that file. So now we will be able to restore that file. We will be able to get it back by using the snapshot. Okay. So now the next step that I need to do is, we're in task number 6, which is restore the Amazon EBS snapshot. In order to do that, I'm going to have to create a new volume from the snapshot. By the way, whenever, like in this case, if the contents of this snapshot, I cannot just put them back into the original EBS volume where I got the snapshot from. I need to create a new volume from it. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to say I'm in a step right now. I'm in step number 44, which is create. Well, this is task 6, restore an Amazon EBS snapshot. And right now I'm at the part where it says create a volume using your snapshot. This is step number 24. I need to, in this snapshots screen, I need to select my snapshot. Again, remember that whenever you restore a file or files that are part of a snapshot, you need to create a new volume. So I'm going to have to create a new volume from my snapshot. Okay, so this is step number 45. So a new volume is going to be created, and it's going to be suggesting that we use the same size and the same availability zone, where we have not only the original lab EC2 instance, but also the volume that I created. So it's going to be restored to this location, and I'm going to add a tag to this volume that's going to be created, and then it's going to be called the name tag is going to be restored volume. Remember, in this case, what I'm saying in this particular situation is, instead of being able to restore directly to the volume where the file was deleted, I had to create a new extra volume. So I'm going to create a new volume. So here is doing this. It says that it's completed. Let's take, well, let me see. Volume was successfully completed. So now in my volumes, I should have an extra volume, or it should be in the process of being created. Okay, the volume has been restored. It seems that it's available. Okay, good. In this case, this new volume, is kind of like floating in that availability zone. It's not attached to anything. That's why it says it's available. Whereas anything that says that it's in use is because it's already being attached to an EC2 instance. Okay, so we have done that. Now we need to attach this new restored volume to the EC2 instance, the lab EC2 instance that we have. So what we're going to do now is I need to repeat the similar step that I did with this volume, where I attached it to an EC2 instance. In this case, it was attached to the lab instance. I'm going to attach it to the same instance. So I'm going to go to actions. So right now I am in step number 50, attach volume. Okay. In step number 51, it says what instance you want to attach it to. So I'm going to attach it to the lab instance. And now we have a different device name is SDG. I'm going to make a copy of that, so then I have it ready when I need it. So this is a different name. Okay, so in this case, what I'm going to do next is so I make a copy of that SDG. Okay, I have attached. Okay, this is what I didn't lose last time, I guess. I was here, and then I guess I move out of this page. So you make sure that you click the attach volume. Okay, and then so that's that. I have attached the volume. This was step number 52. The next step is I'm going to mount the restore volume. This is step number 53. So in this case, I'm going to repeat some of the steps that I did before. So in this case, for the previous volume. So in this case, I'm going to do sudo mkdir, the same directory, mnt, data store, but it's not going to be the same directory, because for each volume we need to have a different directory. Already I'm using data store, so I need to use another directory name. I use this one. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to mount that volume, dev sdg, and then mnt data. I'm at step 54, data store 2. So by doing this, I should be able to mount it. Okay, it's being mounted. Good. And then the next step I need to do, verify that the volume you mounted has a file that you created earlier. Okay, so pretty much what I need to do now is, well, something important that happens here is, in the previous case, there was a point, I believe it was, let me try to see what step that was. There was a point where I needed to format, I needed to apply a file system to the new volume, and the reason was that that volume did not have an operating system. It did not have a file system in it. Now, because I restored the file from an existing from a volume that had a file system in it, I don't need to do that step again. Okay, so that's the important thing about this aspect here. That was, I'm referring to step number 31 that says create. I skipped this part where it says step number 31, create an ext3 file system on the new volume. I'm skipping this altogether simply because whenever I created the snapshot, that snapshot captured the file system that was present in that volume. So I don't need to do that right now. So right now I'm here, and now pretty much what I can do is I can try to access let me see, sudo mount step number 55. I just need to list the contents of this directory mnt data dash store 2, and then and let's see what we have there. As you can see, we have the file txt. This is not, by the way, this is the new restore volume that the lab EC2 instance has, because lab 1 doesn't have the file anymore. And now this is pretty much what I needed to do. And again, if I were to list the original volume the mounted volume where we had stored the original file, the file is not there. You see, the file doesn't appear there. But in the restore volume, that's what we have. So what is going to happen here is this lab EC2 instance has 3 attached volumes to it, and you can see here I believe this one is the root volume, so this is where the operating system is located. This other one is the first one that we attached, this is the first one that we attached, and then because we deleted the file from here, but prior to deleting it, we created a snapshot which made a backup of the contents of this, whatever was here. We were able to create a new volume from the snapshot and be able to attach this new volume onto that lab EC2 instance, and then we pretty much followed the steps to attach it and to mount it, and then next we were able to just list the contents. But this is the main idea, and this is pretty much the end of the lab. So what I'm going to do is I need to click the End Lab button. Let's see, just a moment. Let me take a quick look. EC2 dashboard. Let's see. Yeah, this is the lab. And okay. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so I'm going to click on the End Lab to end this lab. So there we go.